Welcome to The Drive with your automotive experts and hosts, Lauren Fix and Karl Brauer. Each week we dive into breaking car news, share our latest vehicle reviews, and bring you up to speed on what's happening in the automotive world. Buckle up and hit the road with us. This is The Drive.
This is The Drive with Lauren and Karl. I'm Lauren Fix with my very good friend and co-host, Karl Brauer. We are here to talk to you about what's going on in the automotive world, but we're going to have a lot of fun along the way and give you some really cool information. And as we go into our 40th show, I can't believe it, Karl, 40 shows. We've got a really good show. I know.
The big 4-0. We've hit the big 4-0. And I think I can honestly say, Lauren, that I've had more fun doing this than I thought it was going to be. So
me too.
This has been very, very rewarding in terms of getting to talk about things that you and I both care about in kind of this free form flow. And I think the listeners appreciate that sensibility, the fact that they can listen to us and hear genuine thoughts from two people who've been in this industry for a long time between the two of us, and have a lot of perspective on what's going on in the automotive world. And it's just really fun to have this. You and I've been interviewed, we don't know how many times, by other media outlets, and now we're getting to do the interviews of people, and we're getting to be kind of the primary anchors of the show as opposed to being a component to somebody else's show, and I love it.
Right, and you get to come along with us for the ride, and if you want to see the video version, you obviously go to the Drive Car Show on YouTube, and we have a podcast platform of which we really appreciate the support from everybody, and please share this with your friends because we are having a lot of fun, and we're really enjoying you coming along on the ride with us. As summer is here, we are like in the middle of summer, and it's road trip time. Are you doing any fun road trips, Karl?
I have been doing road trips. Well, so I've been doing what shouldn't be a fun road trip, which is from the southern Orange County area up to Camarillo on the other side of the LA interesting drive. I have a name for it, but I can't use it on the show. But getting through Los Angeles is never a dull moment, and usually never a rewarding or rapid or a time efficient moment. But I was doing it recently in a newer Ford F-150 Tremor with BlueCruise, and we're going to talk about that later in the show. But having the BlueCruise hands-free that essentially can handle highway almost without any engagement by me was very nice. That certainly eased the pain of a 100-mile road trip from South Orange County to Camarillo, right through the heart of the beast of Los Angeles.
Wow, I've got a road trip coming up. We're picking up a 944 Turbo just north of Charlotte and driving it back to Buffalo. But I was telling Karl before the show started, there was a time back in the day when my husband and I picked up, many years ago, a Pantera in Lockport, Illinois, in the middle of the country. The guy picked us up at the airport, and he says, "Oh, I got the car running for you, so you can drive it home." And I'm thinking, "Oh, great." He goes, "Don't shut it off." I'm like, "What?" So we slept in the car, in the rest areas on our way back, like Erie, Pennsylvania and so forth, just to get it home because it needed a new starter. So there's always fun stories on road trips. And you can put yours in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or just send it to us on social media. We're on Facebook as well as Twitter or X.
Yeah. No, the road trip thing, my favorite road trip story, I think really so far, was last year I recreated a spring break road trip that my father went on in 1953. Believe it or not, Lauren, this was back when kids, or my dad, who was in college at the time and went to Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania, was writing to his parents every day postcards. He would pick up every day. He had a postcard. So there was like this log from postcards. Somehow ended up in my grandparents. They kept it until they passed away. They gave it to him. He had it when he passed away. We went through all his stuff, and here's these postcards chronicling every day of his road trip from Pennsylvania down through all of Florida and then over to New Orleans.
Wow.
And my daughter saw this and she said, "We have to recreate this." And so we did last year, like 72 years after he'd done it or whatever, 75 years after, we recreated it through Florida. And the best part was when we stumbled upon a really cool museum that wasn't even part of our plan, that happened to be along the way. And we ended up spending hours in there and really enjoying it. And it's my favorite road trip. We had a general framework of where we were going, but we allowed for anything and everything to come up during the road trip. But there wasn't like this, we have to be here by this, we have to be here like this, which I think a lot of us are used to that with our parents' road trips and business road trips and all like that and all. And we didn't have anything we had to be at, and we just enjoyed our drive across the country.
Well, I'm sure you have great stories. We have more to come right after this break.
Welcome back to The Drive with Lauren and Karl. This segment is brought to you by IC Cars, where I am the executive analyst and where you can find all sorts of great information on new and used cars, as well as a lot of guidance on which cars you should be buying. Lauren was able to recently interview John Kelly, the product manager at BMW, about the new X5, right there at the plant where they're built. Let's go check out what Lauren had to hear and say with John Kelly from BMW.
Welcome back to The Drive. John Kelly is with us, product manager at BMW. We're here in Spartanburg, but we have a very special segment because this is the brand new 2027 BMW X5. This is a hugely important vehicle for you. Tell us about the vehicle, because I just love the look. And if you want to see it, you can see it on the Drive Car Show on YouTube, but please tell us about the vehicle.
I'm happy to. Fantastic new vehicle. This is the 5th generation on the BMW X5. For more than 25 years, the X5 has been produced and assembled right here in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
All 25 years?
Yep, all 5, or up until the 5th generation here, yes.
Wow.
And the car is fantastic. It's an all-new vehicle. It really sets a benchmark, sets a new standard for what the BMW X5 is and will be. It sets a benchmark in terms of design, technology, drivetrain flexibility, as well as chassis control and overall dynamics, because again, it is a BMW, it's the ultimate driving machine.
Right.
When it comes to design, you'll notice it's a completely new design.
Yeah, including with the X's, which really stands out.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah.
So the whole front of the vehicle has the new, let's say, design language and interpretation that we know from the Neue Klasse, which we also know from the new iX3, but in a very distinct BMW X5 execution. One of which is the X headlights that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So the illumination you see on the front of the vehicle, this comes with all of them. The iconic
all
gold kidney, they're all illuminated.
That's fantastic, because I think that makes it look really cool.
It does, and it really becomes the signature of the vehicle when you see it at nighttime in your rear view mirror. But what's especially cool about that is the low beam headlight is actually part of the X. It's not a separate bulb that diffuses out in the distance.
Really?
It's part of the X. The high beam is a separate bulb, but the low beam is part of the X. So it becomes part of that signature and that recognizable signature of the vehicle. You can also switch it to a more simplified design if you prefer that. But overall, fantastic new design. From the side of the vehicle is about 3 inches longer overall. So it is a slightly larger vehicle. And on the side, you notice that's a very monolithic, clean sheet design.
Yeah, including your door handles in the way.
Exactly.
You've got these beautiful new design door handles that they go part of the aerodynamics of the vehicle.
Yeah, so the whole body side is very clean. You don't have the door handles on the door as you usually would. You don't have large wheel arch moldings. You do have slightly squared off wheel arches. You don't even have the belt molding, the belt molding trim under the window.
Super clean.
In, super clean, super precise.
Very German.
It's great. And speaking of the door handles, so you mentioned it's an electric door. So you press the door handle and it pops open and then you open the door. But you can also get it now with automatic doors. So
really?
You can open it in a variety of different ways. When I approach the vehicle, I simply touch the door handle, the door opens itself, I can hop in. As soon as I touch the brake pedal, the door closes itself.
Oh, very much like that of a Rolls Royce.
We do have that on Rolls-Royce as well, yeah. And then also from the side, you notice the huge wheels. We have a much larger wheel diameter. We start on 21-inch wheels and we go all the way up to 23s, which we've never had on the X5
No, 23,
before.
that's a big, but it makes for a cooler look.
It does, it does. From the rear.
Performance oriented too, of course. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, with performance tires, but also all seasons up to 22s.
Right.
From the rear, you have a full LED light panel that goes across, and that's also part of the orchestration. So you have 3 different welcome and departure orchestrations for the front and rear lights, which are coordinated.
That is cool.
So you can choose it to your liking. If you want it a little bit slower, a little bit faster, you can have what you like. So
personal.
Really fantastic design overall.
So it's interesting that your competitors, which I know you don't want to talk about, but you know the usual German competitors, they've kind of gone to like gas or hybrid, that's it. But you've really broadened to more options on a global basis. You have 5 different powertrains. Nobody else is doing that.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of this architecture, is it was designed to be very flexible. So you could incorporate different drivetrains with different packaging needs in a very precise, efficient way without any real sacrifices. So for the US, we'll be launching initially with the combustion engine model, the 46 cylinder. So this is the 6-cylinder. It's a mild hybrid, 48 volt technology for an incredibly smooth start-stop operation, 394 horsepower. It's a little bit quicker 0 to 60 than its predecessor.
Yeah.
So that's the entry 6-cylinder. We will have a V8 coming at a later date.
Oh,
So
good.
that's fantastic.
So we're talking about M, something M, my favorite, yes.
And you mentioned plug-in. So we will have 2 plug-in variants, a plug-in hybrid and a fully electric.
Okay.
So the plug-in hybrid, the big news there is it still makes 483 horsepower like it did previously, but the range is now up to an approximated 44 miles fully electric.
That's good, especially when you're sitting in a drive-through. And I know in Europe, for those of you who are lucky enough to get it, diesel, which I fell in love with when I saw it when we first got a chance to look at it. I think the big change on the inside is not just the details and the modern updates and the materials, but the screen and the new steering wheel. Can you touch on that for us?
Sure. In terms of screens, it's really a fantastic new concept. You have your central information display, so the control center, if you will, for all of your operations. You then have your panoramic vision display. So this is your pillar to pillar, A pillar to A pillar. It goes all the way across. It has your essential driver information. It has some infotainment information and some other things, and it's customizable. That's one of the beauties of the interior of the vehicle is you can customize it to your particular interests. So you can move different widgets up into the panorama vision. You can choose many different upholsteries, multiple colors of leather, multiple colors of Vaganza. We have an Alcantara integration with leather.
I love Alcantara.
It's beautiful, sporty, feels nice, looks nice. Really a really nice touch. But one additional topic that we have for the first time on the X5 is a passenger screen. So just like you have your infotainment for the driver, you also have your infotainment for the passenger. This gives you, this is optional, and allows the passenger to watch things like Disney Plus. You can even take Zoom calls on it. You can watch YouTube videos. And in terms of driver distraction, if the driver were to look, it simply blacks out so you can't see.
That's good.
The
So
screen.
keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
But overall, this vehicle is beautiful, and these are going to be coming to your dealer, to your local BMW dealer. Of course, you can check it out on the website in the fall of 2026.
Yeah, this fall, most likely in October, we'll start seeing the 6-cylinder gas engine model with the battery electric, which as a side note, the battery electric is our new Gen 6 architecture, which is really fantastic. Biggest battery we've ever had in a fully electric vehicle, around 435 miles of estimated range and super fast charging speeds. So really impressive product overall. That will be coming a little bit later. That'll be arriving in Q1 of next year, along with the plug-in hybrid that we mentioned.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your time, John. Thank you so much for coming here or letting me come here and see the car. And we're here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to The Drive with Lauren and Karl. Before we get back to it, I want to talk about something that is affecting everyone, especially as we get older. We don't think about this, but at some point you're going to be forced, whether you like it or not, to buy Medicaid. And when you hit 65, it's a federal law. And sometimes people just get whatever they can get locally. They make a couple phone calls or they get a letter in the mail. But I want to introduce you to a really cool company that can help you save a lot of money. Because if you're forced to buy it, you should look into a company called Chapter. I don't know if you've heard about this, Karl, but Chapter is a great way to save money. And what's neat about it is they're going to see the plan you have. They can check to see if you're saving money. And if you do have the best plan, they're going to tell you you've got the best plan. So they're actually there to help you. And you can find out yourself by checking out their website as well as their phone number. Their phone number is 218-666-7429. That's 218-666-7429. Or go to ask, that's ASK, chapter, like in chapter of a book.org, askchapter.org/Car Coach Reports. Their advisors will help you. They're professionals, and they're going to help you save a lot of money. Because if you can save as much as my mother-in-law did, she saved over $1,000 a month. That's a lot of money. And that can go in your pocket. And you can use it toward a car or a vacation or whatever you want.
Well, at that stage, when you're using that service,
you don't know.
I think a lot of people would like to have an extra $1,000 a month if they could save. So,
it's amazing how expensive it is, and that's why it's really important to shop around. And that's part of the things that we're trying to help you not just save money, but learn about what's going on. And one of those things about saving is the price of gas. I'm sure, Karl, you've seen gas prices just through the. You're in California, and I'm in New York.
God, it's ridiculous out here, as you know. We pay the most of anywhere.
So I have to tell you, I was doing some research for my Car Coach Reports channel, and people were talking about gas prices. How come they go up like a rocket ship and come down like a feather? And that's actually what the effect is called, rockets and feathers, which is a nice way of saying we're covering ourselves because we really don't want to bring the prices back down. So
Yes.
as I'm looking, there's actually a lawsuit in the state of California from a company called Calibrate. That's with the letter K. So it's Kalibrate. They're actually being sued by the
Mm.
state of California and by a whole bunch of retailers because you can call it price fixing, you can call it price gouging. It's not done until the legal action is done. So either they're totally fine or they're not. But they're using this algorithm, it's software. And what's interesting, I think you probably see it every day too, Carl. You buy an airline ticket or you're thinking about buying an airline ticket and you go back to your favorite airline. The first time it's one price, the next time it's a different price. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yeah. And there's someone, I was listening, I'm not going to remember the term, but someone was like, oh, you got something, someone
Yeah.
was asking, and someone who's an expert on it was essentially what they were saying is, oh, you were identified as someone who was very likely to buy that ticket. And they figured this much more money wouldn't stop you from buying it once they'd
Exactly.
identified you.
And that's true
Uh,
even on Amazon. They do that too. Like you'll go and go, oh, I
yeah.
want to get I don't know, some barbecue tools. And you go there one day and the next day it's either lower or higher because you haven't made the purchase yet. So the price keeps
Yes.
adjusting based on your demand and your research. So all this is done algorithm based and they call it optimization. Don't you love that word? That means more profits to them, getting you to
Yeah.
spend money. That's really the
Right.
truth. And that's what they're doing with
Optimizing the money they get out of you is what they should call it.
yeah, that's really the truth. So that's what's interesting about this company, Calibrate. There are others out there, but they're not just in California. They're all across the US and including Europe and Canada and Mexico. And they're using it. You can call it price fixing if you want, or you can call it gouging. And President Trump has now got a bunch of the different three-letter agencies looking into not just this company, but many others. And what's really going on with the price of gasoline when we only get 3%, just 3% from the Middle East. So if we're getting the rest of our oil elsewhere, why are we paying such high prices? And you can call it
Well, and
speculators.
especially when they're down now, Lauren, isn't the price of oil under $70 a barrel now again? So
67, yeah, 67 last I looked.
yeah, so there is no reason for gas to be any higher than it was, 7 months ago before there were any conflicts going on that involved the Strait of Hormuz and Iran.
It's actually less than what it was before the conflict. So
Yes.
why are
Yeah.
the prices still higher? And you're in California because you now have additional taxes that have been added. New York has done the same. Illinois has done the same. So a lot of the so-called blue states have increased their gas taxes, and that includes, of course, the state of Washington and Oregon.
Time to go onto a ship and dump some tea out, I think. But anyways, that's just me.
I like
Uh,
that. That's actually pretty smart. So we're going to be monitoring this and we'll keep you posted. I'm also doing that on my Car Coach Reports channel, just letting you know what's going on because I think this is important. If the federal government's looking into this, and we've seen price gouging in the past under past situations, why are you paying so much? Because honestly, the goal is to save money. You can go to Costco, you can use Gas Buddy, you can go to AAA. There's a lot of places you can go to shop around. But even if it's a nickel more a gallon, multiply that times thousands of stations, times hundreds of thousands of stations across the country. And that's a lot of money. And that's why the word optimization keeps coming up.
yeah, and it makes sense, like you're saying, because they don't have to move this price 20 or 30 cents if they move it 3 to 6 cents just at a specific point in time based on local demand and what other stations in the same area are doing. They're quote unquote optimizing that price like in real time constantly, and they're making incrementally, but ultimately a chunk more money because of, as
But
you
who pays
said,
that price?
well,
You do. I do.
yeah,
Everybody does.
the same people who pay every price when there's a mistake or when there's criminal stuff going on. The average hardworking person that is supposed to try to be paying their own bills, but they're starting to pay other people's bills or profit instead. So
Yep. So we'll see what President Trump is doing because I know he does move pretty quickly compared to previous presidents. So we'll be monitoring that. Like I said, the three-letter agencies are looking into it, and they claim that they've got some traction already. We'll watch prices drop, hopefully, to make them more reasonable for everybody.
yeah, let's hope so. I mean, in California, it's out of control. It's the prices out here, and like you said, we just added 2.2 cents of tax and all. I believe now that it's what was it? I heard someone say it's like is it 60 or 80 cents of every gallon is
Yeah.
pure taxes
Yep.
before you even get into the gas.
Right. So
Crazy.
we're going to take a break. When we get back, we have a very exciting interview with a representative of Lamborghini, but this is something that you actually might want to have in your garage that's drivable every single day. We'll be right back after
Absolutely.
this.
Welcome to The Drive with Lauren and Karl, and we have a very special guest, the Chief Marketing and Sales Officer from Lamborghini. That's Federico Foschini. He's joining us to talk about the new Lamborghini Urus SE Performante, which is the most recent and really the best, most upgraded version that this super SUV has appeared in yet. It's been around since 2017, but it's really had some great updates just for this brand new version that's just hitting the marketplace. Federico, thank you for joining us. Tell us first kind of what you think are the key components of the upgrades that you've done. Like, what is the most important thing that you wanted to achieve with this SE Performante version of the Urus?
So our aim was on one side to increase and to rise against the bar and to set a new level in terms of performance and driving dynamic. On the other side was also to keep and to improve the comfort of the car. So to combine the two dimensions, because the philosophy of the Urus since its launch is to have the body and the characteristic of an SUV, so having the roominess, the comfort, the luggage capability of an SUV, and the, let's say, daily driving opportunity that an SUV can give you with a super sport car performance and driving fun. And this was something that was the secret of the success of this model since day one. But we are never standing still. We want always to improve our product, as it happened also in the other model. So with this kind of version, we wanted especially to concentrate ourselves to do the best SUV possible, mainly driven by increased performance and increased driving dynamic.
You know, what I love about the Urus is that it's something you can use every day. And for those that own Lamborghinis or other vehicles, once you've driven one, the experience is very special. And I think you've expanded on that by making it, I will say, sexier with more carbon fiber, a bolder look, and more performance. Can you tell us a little about, you know, the experience of driving this and how it's improved over the previous generation?
Yes, for sure. So on one side, for sure, you can feel all the new introduction that we have made when it comes to the suspension with the double chamber damper, but also the increase of power, and also what we have done in terms of lightweight material in order to reduce the weight. On the other side, we have increased also the comfort comparing the previous Performante. That was a little bit the pain point, because in that model we had to compromise on the comfort in order to get the maximum performance and driving handling capability. In that case, we were able to improve on both the same dimension. And I have to say that driving this car personally, it's completely something that is unbelievable what you can do by just changing the driving mode and which kind of opportunity you can experience in terms of emotion, in terms of comfort, in terms of precision and handling behavior. So it's something that is giving you something that at the moment was never presented in the market by anyone.
Yeah, you talked about how, or I've seen how you're going to have the rally mode like you already had on the previous version of the Performante. And I'm curious because now that it's this electrified version, Federico, I'm assuming that you can only further enhance, you know, when you've got an electric drivetrain, you can have instant torque, as we know, and you can have a very specific application of that torque timing wise, you know, related to throttle input and steering input. So I'm assuming that as much fun as the previous Performante was in rally mode, this one's only more expressive and thrilling when you put it in that mode in terms of how you can move the car around, getting it to drift and those kind of things.
Yes, but this is also combined with the choice that we have done already at the Urus SE time and is improved here, because we changed the rear differential together with the introduction of the rear electric engine. So this is giving you a lot of torque and power on the rear wheel, on the rear axle. And this is the maximum driving fun that you can experience, especially when you are on gravel. So you feel really the car that is pushing from behind, and you have the car that is, let's say, drifting in a very easy way, but is always under control because the car is four-wheel drive. And it's very easy to drive, but it's very easy also to have this kind of, let's say, behavior.
Wow. 812 horsepower, 1,000 pound-feet of torque. That's got to be amazing to drive. 0 to 60 time, if I read this correctly, is 3.3 seconds in an SUV that you could drive year round. Because I know you've got a great all-wheel drive system too. That's pretty impressive.
Yes, it's pretty impressive, but it is what it is. So it's something that it's unbelievable to think that a beast like this is capable to do what you were mentioning now. But it's also, while you are driving, unbelievable also to understand how easy is the driving of this car, how safe is, how efficient is the braking system. Because if you go fast, you need to brake even faster,
Correct.
and you need also to have a consistency in the braking. Let's say responsiveness, and this is something that is everything is at the maximum in this car. So for this reason, I'm not I'm not scared to say, also driving daily Urus, so since years, that this is the best Urus ever designed and developed by our research and development and Centro Stile, and
Wow.
I think it will be also the best among the competition one will be on the market.
This is
Yeah,
great.
no,
I was going to say, if you missed any of this and you want to see what the car looks like, check out our YouTube channel, The Drive Car Show, and you can see this beautiful car. Or go to your favorite Lamborghini dealer.
Right. And you're saying that this is now the fastest SUV, on the planet. It's the fastest SUV you can buy, Federico, which I fully believe it with those kind of performance numbers. And I know you also have an incredibly in-depth customization program for these vehicles. You can do everything you want with them. And there's all that carbon fiber that's on this new one to help lighten it up. It's got a lot of great features. Federico, thank you for joining us for today on the show and giving us all the great information about this brand new Lamborghini Urus SE Performante. We're looking forward to seeing it on the street and maybe even getting some seat time in it at some point. But thank you again for joining us on The Drive with Lauren and Karl.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much for the interview, and I hope we...
Welcome back to The Drive with Lauren and Karl, and this segment is brought to you by Karl Brauer Cars. That is my YouTube channel where I'm posting videos on a regular basis on everything from Nissan Versas to Lamborghini Huracans and everything in between. Please check me out at Karl Brauer Cars on YouTube. Now, Lauren, there's some scary stuff going on in the world of George Orwell rolling over in his grave, and I feel like he's got to be in high spin mode at this point, given what's going on in the world for the last couple of years. But the latest one to keep him rolling is the flock camera situation, and we've talked about this before on the show, so this is not new to our regular listeners. But what's new is some capabilities of these cameras, and possibly even scarier, some attitudinal elements from the CEO of Flock Cameras and what he has to say about people who don't support him. But I think you know even more about this. What is going on in this world?
Yeah, I try to follow this stuff, but somebody sent me this video. It was done from just some podcaster, nothing big. And they clipped this out of the podcast because the CEO of Flock Cameras, his name is Garrett Langley. He said that he was talking about this website called DFlock, DEFLOCK. In other words, people that don't like the cameras, which includes you and I, and because they monitor everything you do, they check your license plates, they check all your information, and then what it does is it collects that data in a data center. That's why those data centers. So it's not just collecting the license plate like it's supposed to. It's pictures of you. It's the shape of the car, the color of the car. Do you have bumper stickers, damage, roof rack, whatever it is, all that data is collected. So when they asked him, hey, there's this app called DFlock. Have you heard of it? And he's like, yeah, he goes, they're basically terrorists. They're worse than Antifa. It's like, excuse me? So me telling you where cameras are makes me a terrorist? And there's other websites that you should check out if you're concerned about this. Have I been flocked? FLOCKED.com. You put your license plate in and it'll tell you if it's tracking. But DFlock shows you where all the cameras are in your local community. So I've been avoiding them, and they don't like that. They want that information. So this is one thing. And then beyond that, there's also a new, and the fact that he called us terrorists really set me off. So I did a whole segment on that on my channel. But on top of that, there's other cameras out there. They're called ALPRs, but basically they're automatic plate readers, but it's really doing more than that. Let's be honest. But there's also some new software that came up from a company called, let me see if I can get that for you, but it's called Leonardo. And the software is called Signal Trace. So it goes into this system. So we all have AirPods. And of course, we're going to show you a video of all this on our YouTube channel at the Drive Car Show.
I'm using them right now, Lauren.
Oh no, they know you're there. So if you've got a camera outside your house, don't worry, it's already got that. But you think, well, I don't use AirPods. I don't use Apple devices. I'm on an Android. Got that too. I don't bring my phone with me. Some people say, don't worry, it's taking off your center screen. Not just that, the people that wear those rings and the Apple watches, they all have Bluetooth signals to them. It's taking that as well. Your dog and the collar you might have, or the chip that's in your dog, in case you get lost. And when I had dogs, I always did that. All of that is being collected as well. It doesn't know who owns it necessarily. In some cases it does, especially if you label it Karl Brauer's AirPods. So if I pick them up, I go, oh, these aren't mine, Karl, these are yours. So I hand them back to you, right? Well, all of that information is being collected. So they tell you not to label your phone, your AirPods, your iPad, whatever it is, whatever device you have from any brand, not to label it with your name, which I've always done in case somebody picks it up, like one of our friends when we're on the road, oh, Karl, this is yours. It's not mine, or vice versa, or that's mine. So all that data is now being collected. Does this explain why there's so many data centers now? It does.
Yeah, I mean, there's this huge push to build these things. There's this huge push to figure out how to power them and all. There's companies supposedly out there that are trying to develop like mini nuclear power plants. I don't know if you've heard about this.
They need it, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to come up with all these ways to quickly power all these data centers, because the idea is that now the challenge isn't grabbing or collecting the data. You just described how they're able to do it. The challenge is storing it and wading through it. And of course, AI makes the wading through it pretty easy, pretty effective. The AI can just scan this stuff super quick. So you've got technology.
Other people are too. Police officers, people they sell the data to, whether it be government, insurance companies, extended warranty companies, or anybody who wants to give them money, a marketing company.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, like none of this would be possible without like multiple components. But we happen to live in this serendipitous would be the optimist, scary would be the pessimist way.
I would say scary, yeah.
Yeah, but first you need the technology to grab all this stuff. You just described how it's possible. Then you need the technology to store all this stuff. That's where the data centers come in. Then you need the technology to analyze this stuff. That's where artificial intelligence comes in. And then you need someone who can query the artificial intelligence and say, hey, tell me where Karl Brauer has been for the last 2 weeks. Tell me all of his movements for the last 2 weeks. Right. And it's all that's been stored. All that was been collected initially, stored after that, and AI labeled it and categorized it. And now you just ask AI as a law enforcement person or some other government agency,
who's Karl Brauer?
It spits it all out at you. So all these things come together, all this great technology. And I'm a tech geek, so it's very kind of mixed emotion for me. I love the idea that technology makes crazy things possible. I'm a huge fan of that. I'm not a fan of technology making crazy surveillance and tracking possible. And
they're going to amp this up to a whole new level. Just remember, we are the flock. We are the sheep in the flock. That is the facts.
Well, there's a great quote, and I should know who did this. It might have been Thomas Jefferson. It might have been one of the
Benjamin Franklin. Yes. Yes.
Those who trade freedom for security deserve neither.
Correct. So, I use that a lot. That's why the only reason I know it's Ben Franklin, but he was correct. And remember, when you give that up, you don't get it back, and you don't get either. And it means,
and that's always how it's sold. That whether it's the guy who runs Flock or all the people who would potentially be hearing this conversation and going, well, what are you doing? It makes you, it's like, I get so annoyed with that attitude, Lauren. It's like, well, I'm not a terrorist. Why do I care? It's like,
apparently you are if you report where the cameras are.
Yeah. Well, do you think you have to be a terrorist and going in heavy criminal activity before this stuff is utilized against you? Because if you do, you're stupidly naive. Okay. The idea that, you go somewhere and then you come back from somewhere and then they decide that something happened while you were out there, and now you're a suspect because they know that you were traveling and you had nothing to do with whatever supposedly, but now you're on the list to look at because they know that you were out there. But they have just enough tracking to know you were in the area, but not enough to know that you didn't have anything to do with it. But now you're under suspicion because it's like, well, we knew you were in the area. It's like, yeah, well, I didn't do the crime. Well, we don't have proof you didn't do the crime. We have proof you were there.
Sounds like a bad movie.
It's just scary. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back with a lighter note right after this break. Welcome back to The Drive with Lauren and Karl. This segment is brought to you by Car Coach Reports. That's my news channel where you get to find a lot more information, deeper dives into things we've talked about, from flock cameras, gasoline prices, what's really going on in the automotive world that nobody is talking about. I give you information in a short little package, 20 minutes, and you will walk away learning a lot more. That's Car Coach Reports, or you can find all my information at carcoachreports.com, and that's my YouTube channel also. All right, Karl. What are you driving these days? You get to drive some fun cars like I do, but because you're on the West Coast, you get completely different cars than I do.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier in the show that I had possession of a Ford F-150 Tremor. I love that name,
Nice.
Tremor.
I do too.
Yeah, and so that's kind of their midway vehicle. You're very familiar with the Raptor level vehicles, whether you own your Bronco Raptor or the Ford F-150 Raptors out there. And then you got FX4, which is kind of their baseline off-road thing. You can get that on like the Maverick. You can certainly get it on the F-150. So I consider the Tremor, and I think this is what Ford's trying to do, kind of a midway step. Okay, I want more than FX4, which you can get on kind of very otherwise basic mundane models out there, and I don't need the crazy horsepower and the widened body panels
fun,
of a
but
Raptor.
Not needed. Yeah,
and the higher price, of course, too. So you get this Ford F-150 Tremor, and it's pretty cool because it's got a lot of the same equipment. Like I think even the locking mechanism is pulled right from the Raptor for locking the differentials, or maybe no, it's the dual cage, the dual stage gear, gear thing where you get to low and high gear.
Right.
The transfer case. The transfer case is pulled right from the Raptor, but then it's got trail turn assist, which I thought was the coolest technology when I first saw it. Yeah, it locks the inside rear wheel when you're turning hard to the left. It locks the rear left wheel, and you literally drag the kind of wheel, and it forces the vehicle to turn tighter. Great for when you're getting around some crazy obstacle on an off-road course. Right. And of course, one pedal drive, the low speed kind of cruise control that keeps your momentum going from like 1 to 3 miles, 5 miles per hour to help you get over things. So the Tremor's got all this stuff. It's got skid plates. It's got a modular steel front bumper that can let you put things like a winch on the front that's easy to bolt on. And then it's got the locking it's got the optional Torsen front differential too. But it comes with either, and this is where it's interesting, Lauren, it comes with either the standard engine, which is the 3.5 liter EcoBoost I'm very familiar with. You are too. We both have 4 GTs with that same basic engine. Or you can get the 5 liter V8. What's interesting is the base engine is the 3.5, and it's got 400 horsepower, 500 pound-feet, and the 5 liter V8 is 400 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of peak torque. So the EcoBoost has more peak torque, yet you have to pay it's not much, $375 to switch from the base EcoBoost with more torque to the 5 liter V8 with less torque. Why would you have to pay more and all? Because we both know the EcoBoost is good, but it's a smaller engine, it's 2 less cylinders, it's got twin turbos. It needs a more specific environment or specific status before it's getting that peak torque.
Right.
No displacement for no replacement for displacement. More cylinders, bigger. That 5 liter has a wider torque band. It's got a lower peak torque, but it's going to have a wider torque band. That's why I think it's more desirable. That's probably why they equipped my test car with it, because it makes the car drive better. And that's why you have to spend a little bit more money than the base 3.5 EcoBoost to get the 5 liter V8. This one had it.
And that's on that whole review. If I want to see it and I want to watch your whole experience, is at Karl Brauer Cars on YouTube, correct?
Yes, you can see where I took it off road and had a lot of fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my test vehicle this week is the 2026 Lexus RX 500H, which is hybrid F-Sport performance all-wheel drive. And there's a reason that Lexus and the RX is so popular, because you're getting an array of choices. The 350, the entry level, all the way up to the performance. I actually liked it. I like hybrids. I think they give you the best of all worlds. There's not a lot new for this year other than like wireless charging and the F-Sport variants across the full package, the appearance packages. But it's a plug-in hybrid. It has a lower price as well, but this one isn't. This is a 2.4 liter engine, and it gets about 28 miles to the gallon, so it gives you that performance. It gives you a good-looking vehicle. And I think that's the whole thing with Lexus, is they've really succeeded with quality vehicles that last a long time, have great resale value, and the hybrid technology has a longer warranty. And I love the new technology, the big 14-inch screens. We've both seen that. I mean, they've really stepped up their games when it comes to Lexus as a whole. Standard safety and 5-star crash test rating, which means you get a very, very top safety vehicle. Again, all of that will be on my Car Smarts channel, which is on YouTube.
Yeah, another good vehicle. Lexus makes excellent vehicles. They tend to top our longest lasting cars list at IC Cars. Great vehicles.
All right. So we'll be back next week with another exciting show here on The Drive with Lauren and Karl. Don't forget to check out our website, which is The Drive Car Show. Also, that's the same name of our YouTube channel. And don't forget to download and subscribe to our podcast. Thanks so much for listening.
You've been listening to The Drive, your trusted source for the latest car news, expert reviews, and real insights into the automotive world. Thanks for riding along with us today. You can check out the entire archive of every episode on our YouTube channel, The Drive with Lauren and Karl. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and join the conversation by leaving your comments. We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay safe, enjoy the ride, and we'll see you right back here on The Drive.